Well, hey everybody, Matt Kloskowski here, and every so often there's a piece of gear that makes its way into my camera bag and it stays there, as opposed to something that I think is cool for a month or two and then I kind of don't use it anymore, which I think happens to a lot of us. But that piece of gear is called a Lumecube. It's these little mini light cubes here, and I'm doing this video today because they actually announced a brand new version called the Lumecube Air. About 2 years ago, when I first found them, I did a video on it, and I kind of talked about as a landscape outdoor nature photographer, there are times where I need to put a little bit of light into the scene. A lot of times it's macro. It's a very, very flat type of a scene, and I want to add a little bit of light and depth and dimension, maybe even give the appearance of sun into the photo there. Night photography, a little bit of fill light for the foreground, or I teach workshops in Costa Rica. I bring these things with me. I even left one with one of the guides down there that I'm good friends with, because you get out there at night with these little creepy crawly things and frogs, and if you don't have a little bit of light to put in the scene, what starts to happen, number one, your shutter speeds get prohibitively long, and then in order to counteract that, you have to crank your ISO so high. This lets you keep that ISO down a little bit and lets you get those shutter speeds a little bit faster, because whatever you are photographing, chances are it's not going to stay put for you. So why the new one, the Lumecube Air? So I thought I do this video because to me it's a great upgrade when it comes to a couple things: price and usability. I'll call out the first one, the original Lumecube. And by the way, this is the original one. I've got the new one, the Lumecube Air. I don't have it out, and I'm going to tell you why toward the end of the video. It'll make a little bit more sense then. But the original one was about 79 bucks. And then what you had to do is, after a while, they came out with modifiers. People wanted to modify them and diffuse and warming gels and everything. And so they had to come out with this housing that you put around it and came with the modifiers. That was like another 40 bucks. So now you're at like $120 for a mini light, which is kind of steep. The new one, I think, is about $69. And the nice part about it is it comes with really the two modifiers that people use the most. It comes with the warming one, and it comes with the diffuser. These are these little kind of silicone things, and you don't need the housing. That's the nice part about it, is you don't need that extra piece of material that you can lose. You can just, these kind of suction right onto the Lumecube itself. So I've got the warming ones here, and the diffuser ones are just white. So that's a nice little perk, and for $69, it's quite a bit cheaper than its predecessor there. The other things come, I think, from usability. Number one, the size or the weight. The size is about the same. The Lumecube Air is like it's probably half of what the original Lumecube weighs. They're not heavy, but they're both, they have some weight to them for the size. So if you have 2 or 3 of them and you throw them into your camera bag, now you're starting to stack up on the weight. I've got my little kind of selfie content creator cam here, which I use when I'm doing some videos out in the field. So I've got a little thing where I just mount it right into the middle there, which gives me a little bit of light, especially if it's darker outside. I can expose well for the background so you can see where I am, but I get a little bit light so that, that way I'm not in the shadow. So, and when you're holding something out in front of you for a long period of time, every little ounce counts. So it's definitely a lot lighter. The other thing when it comes to usability, I would say, number one, it's not going to sound like a new feature, but I'm telling, just take it from somebody that's been using this thing for 2 years. There's 10 degrees of light sensitivity to it. Okay, so you can turn it on and click it 10 times to get from dim to bright. Me personally, I just want off, I want dim, or I want bright. I don't necessarily need 10 degrees of sensitivity inside of there. And so what would happen is I'd have it dim, and then I'd try to get it bright, and I'd have to click 9 times. You know what happens when you click something 9 times really fast? You accidentally click it 10. And then you turn it off, and then you've got to go through the whole process again. It sounds silly, but it's happened to me 100 times. So the new one only has 4 degrees of sensitivity: 25, 50, 75, 100%. And that's, to me, that's perfect. I'd only take 2, honestly, but it's a lot better than having to click through this thing 10 times. It's actually got an app. You can control it through your phone if you want. You can even use it as a strobe with your cell phone, which is kind of cool. Or you can actually set them off somewhere and then dial in the light that you want from the app as well, because they're Bluetooth enabled. All right, another little usability factor here is the way that it's charged. The old one has this little screw on the back that you needed like a coin or something to open with. That was a pain because it just seemed like whenever I wanted to charge it, I didn't have something to open it with. And then the little screw would get lost. So I have 4 Lumecubes, 2 of them have the screws that I can't find on them. I don't know if my cat ran away with them or what, but they're gone. So the new one just has a little latch on the back that you open and close. If you're wondering why the big deal, like why even the screw or the latch, why not just expose it? Because they're waterproof. So I think it's up to 30 feet. And so the new one is as well. It's just a lot easier to get to the USB charging port. Last thing, it's got a magnet. The new one has a magnet on the back of it. And why is that important? Well, I mean, think of it in so many different ways. You know, I use these as my flashlight now. I don't worry about packing a flashlight because I know that I've packed a couple of these into my backpack whenever I go out. So they become my flashlight. If you have anything metal on your bag, on your person or what, they'll stick right to it. And then the other cool part about it is this video, the only 2 lights lighting this video are Lumecubes. So I've got one in front of me, and I've got one up on the ceiling there as kind of a separating hair background light. So I have my normal light stand, which has my normal light in front of me. I just turned it around, it's got a metal piece on it, and I just clipped it just stuck right to it. And then same thing up on the ceiling there, I've got my hair light. I moved that to the side. The clamp I use is metal, and I just clicked the Lumecube straight to that. So those are the only 2 lights that I'm using, is a Lumecube in front of me and a Lumecube up top there. If you guys are interested, you can find out more over at lumecube.com. And I said it before, but 2 years ago I found these things, and other than the basic essentials of photography when it comes to the little extra gear, this is really one of the only things that makes its way into my bag on just about every trip that I take. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by, and I will talk to you again real soon.